handle the truth.
I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, hey, the government told me what day it was, so I got to remember to. I'm going to do it right, guys. Don't screw this up. I looked down at the calendar. It is May 28th. It's a Thursday. It's trash day here at the Price House, 2026. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here and part of the show. What a relief in the Midwest here. We got a little rain coming our way, so we've been in a bit of a drought here the last 2 or 3 months here in Kansas. But anyway, lots of rain over the last 24 hours. We've gotten quite a bit, and it seems to keep coming. So, hey, I think that's awesome. It'll fill up the wells and aquifers around here. It'd be great. A couple of things going on. A big announcement that just came out just about an hour or so ago, maybe 2 hours ago now, that there is a 60-day, you don't shoot me, I don't shoot you. Let's sit down and hash it out. And so we'll see how all that lands here in the coming weeks, and we'll see how the sad part of it is the hysteria of those that do not want things to get better. And I don't know. I know. I think I say this, and I feel like I'm always a little confused by this topic. But there's just people that want to destroy people, and that really just kind of gets me kind of sideways on stuff. I don't know why that bothers me. I'm like, I don't get it. There's a lot of things to do in life, and that's not one of the things on my list of things to get done. But there are people out there who make a lifetime out of it, and make a pretty good living at it as well. But this is the world we live in, so if we know that there is evil and those things around us, we know we got to fight back. Now, there are things coming out that I think are going to be important in the next coming weeks. There is things going on with certain elections. There are certain things happening which are going to be very important going in. But there is some pushback about the Supreme Court stuff here and there. It's very fast and very loose right now, which, guys, if the judges are our gods, then why don't we just treat them that way? And then when we don't like our gods, then they're not our gods. Is that how we do this? So when judges are our judges and they do the judging things that we want them to judge and judge the way we want them to judge, and then we're all like, hey, these are our judges. And like, hey, this is what judges do, right? But then when they don't do it our way, but then even like when the Supreme Court judges don't do it the way the Supreme Court judges are told to do it from the other Supreme Court judges. So anyway, I think the House of Cards and a lot of this bravado and the false authority we've given over to the court system so much that we should actually be doing as people, not as legislating from the bench. But anyway, that's enough for another time. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff coming out, but I do know that there's things happening in that way, and that's how we seem to get things done in our country litigiously, right? Anyway, I do have a special guest with me. Allan Roberts is with me. Allan, good to see you, sir. Let me get myself over here sitting next to you, and then we'll be, there we go. Hey, good to see you.
All right, great to be here, Jim. Glad to be on your show. First time ever, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Allan, let's go ahead and introduce yourself. Give us you got a website, handle on Twitter or X or whatever we're supposed to call it now. Give us that there, and then we'll chop it up from there.
Yeah, so the easy thing is just to go to the website for my book. The website is globalcollapsebook.com. So it's pretty easy to remember. Go to globalcollapsebook.com. From there, you'll get my other links. You can find me on Rumble at rumble.com/The Globalist Plan. And you can pick up my X as well in the footer of the website, globalcollapsebook.com.
Very good. Now, I have not received a copy of this, so I'm sure that we'll get one of those. I love reading the books for you guys. Now, for you, how did you get started in this book? I mean, I always like to know kind of where you guys like, hey, I was walking along and a tree hit me in the head. I mean, what was the moment for you that you got to like, what was your what was your Newton moment with the apple and the tree, I suppose?
Yeah, it definitely was a Newton moment, so I'm a small business owner, own a marketing firm, and I'm busy, like they say, busier than a one-armed paper hanger. So no plans to write a book were on my mind whatsoever. But one morning in April 2024, last Saturday in April, I woke up at 4 a.m. just like you would any night in the middle of the night, getting ready to roll out of bed to use the bathroom, come back to bed. And as I'm laying there in that 30 seconds before I decide to get up, I had this, I call it like a flash, like an instant knowing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like wham, it hit me. And now all of a sudden, it kind of thing.
Right.
And what it was is a revelation of six pillars of society. Initially, it was a set of six pillars of society. And the very strong overriding impression was all six were under attack and they were going to come down if nothing was done.
Right.
And I didn't know what was being done, but I just knew what each pillar was. And it was startling, but it was not scary. It was just matter of fact, like bang, now you know it. And I was stunned. I got up, I wrote that down. I keep paper and pen in the bathroom, wrote those six down, and go back to bed. I'm thinking about them, hoping to get back to sleep. And about 2 minutes later, bang, three more, instant, like in an instant flash of knowledge. And this is three more pillars of society. And again, the same sense that they're being worked on methodically, systematically to bring them down, and they're coming down if something isn't done.
Right.
I go write those down, back to bed, the same thing, two more. And the third time, I'm like, what the heck? Rip off the covers, write down the other two. And at that point, I'm just like, because I am a prayerful person. Never had a revelation like this ever, though. Right. I am a prayerful person. And so you kind of get the sense of, you can kind of sense God's presence, like there's a certain peace about it. And so in my head, I just said, God, why are you showing me this? I don't get it. This is like the news or something. You're showing me like just the world situation, what's going on in the country. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why you'd be showing this to me. And, because I'm nobody, I don't have the ability. I have no bullhorn. You know what I mean? Why don't you show it to somebody who can get the word out for you? And I wasn't getting any sense of why. And then finally, it just dawned on me, do you want me to write a book? Is that why? And if you want me to write a book, what's the title? And it was the same thing, flash, like instantly there, like the whole title, the globalists plan to collapse everything to usher in a new world order. And because it was so bold and so immediate and so strong, I figured, okay, you're telling me you want me to do this. So I'll sign up to research the evidence for these 11, what I call pillars of society, being under attack, right? And what's being done and what's going on and what's the evidence. So I just made up my mind on the spot I was going to do it, despite the fact that I'm too busy. And about a minute later, I got severe butterflies in my stomach. Like, how am I going to write a book on this? It sounds like a ton of research, ton of work. And there was a thought that was just instantly in my mind. It was, write it from the heart and it'll flow. In other words, it's not as much work as you think it is, because you're thinking you got to figure it out before you start writing. And if you just go with the flow, you're going to see. And that's what I did. I started, I booked 6 nights at the beach with my wife. And we, I was writing every day, all through the day, until 11 o'clock at night, writing and researching, mostly researching, taking notes. Mm-hmm. And that kicked it off. And then every single weekend, all through the summer, finished it on September 3rd. So I started it like on May 17th, finished September 3rd. So like 3.5 months, 300 pages, 175 QR codes, mostly videos, proving that these things are under attack, basically. So that's what the book's about, and that's how it happened.
Wow. Well, now so as you going through this and you started breaking down, now is there a overarching theme for these pillars, and then are there breakouts of these like groups of 3 or 4, or is it just they're all individual in their own? Are they grouped in different sectors? How does that work? Do you break it out in that way, or how does that look to us?
What I did is, I don't remember the order because my notes were messy, and I didn't keep the original notes. I transcribed stuff as I got it organized. Right. So I don't remember the original sequence I received them in, but I do remember that thinking that it would be smart in the book to present them in the most obvious first and the more hard to believe later, so that I don't know what's going on with my camera here. I'm off center here. of a sudden. There we go.
Oh. All right. I'll fix it.
Was that wrong?
No, you're right.
I didn't fix it. Now I'm good. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that. My camera freaked out on me.
Right. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but okay, so yeah, I arranged them in the most obvious to least obvious. So if you just want to hear them real quick,
absolutely. Well, that's bring them out for us. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the first one is national borders, the crisis at the southern border, basically. Number two, collapse point number two, security and police protection, the intentional weakening of security and police protection. Number three is privacy. The collapse of privacy. Number four is banking and finance, hanging by a thread. Number five is education. Number six is energy. Number seven is the environment, but not in the way you might think. It's more the air we're breathing and the way it's impacting the food. And then number eight is the medical system. Number nine is the food supply. Number 10 is self-identity. And number 11 is faith. So those last two were a surprise. And those were the last two that I received. Those were the last two. I do remember that.
Right.
Self-identity and faith.
So when you talk about each one of those, do you go ahead and break each one out and how that each part of now when you say those, each one of those kind of touch all of us throughout our day, isn't that correct? Like I could take one individual column and say, well, okay, some part of that touches me throughout the day, or then I could take another one. Yeah, and I'm seeing this constant touch. So now, do we pick one that we like the most and run with it, or how do we push back against what we know is being destroyed, the wood chipper, so to speak?
Yeah, I think the most fundamental answer to what do we do about it is number one, get the word out. That create awareness.
Absolutely.
Because once there's enough awareness, pushback is inevitable, and pushback is what we're really after.
Yeah.
And as I said in another podcast that I had right before yours, believe it or not, my goal is to get people from the let's say the unaware or just somewhat aware phase to the hell no phase as fast as possible.
Right.
So you know how awareness goes like, oh my gosh, that's really happening. And then you get to, no way do I want that to happen. And then you get to, hell no, I'm not letting it happen. Not letting it happen to my family, my school board, my business, whatever it is. You get like, I'm going to do whatever I can do. And that's where we need people to be. And once enough people are in that mode, then the government doesn't get away with all the stuff they're trying to pull off on us, or you could say the world government getting away with what they're trying to enforce on us.
Well, the internet in your phone, I think in 2012 was really probably one of the most profound trajectory changes in communication, not only in the worst way, but in the best way as well, right? So I think what they thought they were going to land the plane with in 2020, I don't think that plan landed the way they wanted it to, and they really thought they were going to stick it. I really do. I think there's some things that there was other forces involved, and too many people came aware. I got on this is how I started the daily update. That's how I was doing a Saturday night show, 2-hour show on Saturday nights, loving it, doing great numbers, but I started doing the daily because I would get on an hour before Trump came on. And I just felt like I would get on here and I would say, okay, guys, I got an 8-pack of toilet paper. Who's got acreage? Who's willing to, if I got an 8-pack of toilet paper here, who's got, I've got some Lysol spray if you got a boat, and so I tried to, one, talk about what I knew about the science and get real about and what they were really saying and why the numbers seemed bigger than they should be. And so I was trying to pull that back in. You see what I'm saying on all that stuff, that it was trying to keep some reality in the whole thing. And I think that is where the truth of it, where we're at now, like you just said, you want to get the tide pushed so we don't have to come up from underneath it, right? We don't want to be overwhelmed and have to go back. Let's just push it down. A good fire line goes a long way, right? And this would be a great fire line for that. Let's know what they're attacking, how they're attacking it, and then just say no. Doesn't a lot of this stop with that? Just saying no? If we all just said no,
it's pretty much it. Been being loud and forceful about the no. Being noisy. And, we have such an advantage because of our system of government where the states have power, even though the government tries to take more and more of it, the federal government. But the reality is, and we saw this with DeSantis in Florida, when during the COVID crisis, he just said, no, we're not going to do that. We're opening up.
Right.
Doesn't matter that we have an aging population that should be more vulnerable than the rest of the country. We're opening up, and so they basically they put the lie to the whole hoax by opening up and having no worse numbers than anybody else. Business is thriving, and they put the pressure on the other states to start opening up too because they exposed the lie. So that's an example of pushing back. That's a governor doing it. But I mean, I think we saw a similar type of momentum happen with the whole men and women's sports thing, and how the Trump administration chose to push back at the federal level, getting it out of all the federal standards, getting it out of the military, and it created momentum. And
doesn't that affect the Olympics being in LA this year or this next year?
You may be right. You would think it would. It should.
I mean, there's some. I mean, right? It's a federal law, and you gotta. I don't know. That may be out still, and I know the Olympic company it is a company, right? The Olympic company. The Olympic Commission has. But I
don't think it's a government organization, but it's an independent body. But I think they're under a lot of pressure.
There you go. I was gonna say, you're like, it's not a government. It's not. Well, go. Please tell me. Please tell me how that isn't a part of the deal. Like, it's crazy. But hey, we live in times that here's what I do appreciate about the internet. As much as we know that it's 90% junk, it is the ability to go out there now and fact check most every video within seconds. I don't know if you could go out there and really do some of the stuff they used to do with the legacy media. I mean, they used to pull some good ones off on us, right? But nowadays, we're calling them out. We're like, no, dude, that's a video game. You can't remember that in the whole COVID thing. There was a whole thing with the Ukrainian war. Yeah. And then they come to find out CNN was playing the trailer to a video game. As
unbelievable. The guts that they have, the bravado, the nerve, the arrogance to think that we're going to fall for it all. It's just unreal.
But us laughing about it is where that really starts, right? Is us pointing out like, hey, we've done this in the past. And if we can make ourselves aware of these things, we know that we can overtake the future, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and laughing at them is one of the most powerful things. That whole, the rules for radicals that they try to use against the conservative world by one of the rules is make fun, because that tears down people's respect. Right. And what you see is they're being made fun of now, and they hate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, so when you got going into this, what did your wife? You said your wife she got a 6-day hanging out on the beach thing or something. I don't know what it said you did there. You rode for a little bit, so she got a vacation out of the deal initially. But how has she been through this whole process of getting this out there, and has she had input?
She was great. When this thing happened to me after the third wave, when I got number 11, there was no going back to sleep. Like it's, I don't know, 4:45 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. I don't know. I'm like, I'm not getting back to bed. It's impossible.
Right.
I go downstairs, get a cup of coffee. I had like a tablet, I'm trying to think about how I can arrange my life to squeeze out time to write a book, and just like writing down some thoughts about what I just experienced. And she comes down around, I don't know, maybe 6 in the morning. I said, you're not going to believe what just happened to me. And I explained the whole thing. She goes, yeah, I totally believe it. You need to get away. You want to go to the mountains. You want to go to the beach. You got to clear your head and just get in it, and, but she was supportive right from the start. And it was the end of summer, after spending every single weekend, all weekend long, writing and researching, with one exception, because it was my son's, it was a grandkid's birthday. With that one exception, it was every weekend, all weekend. And it was a lot of evening nights during the week. And it was even stealing time away from my job in the day. In other words, I was totally into this, absorbed 100%. And we got to the end of the summer, and she goes, you realize you gave up your whole summer? And I said, wow, you're right. I didn't even think of it. And I said, and you did too. And it's because she was such a good sport. I mean, we weren't going anywhere, but she was behind it. She believed me that it was kind of an inspired thing. And so she was all in, and she was great.
That is awesome. That's good stuff. Now, this is out on what platforms? Do you have this on platforms, or are you just doing it through your own website? How are you doing that?
Yeah, no, it's available anywhere you can buy online books. Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's in dozens, basically anywhere you can buy books online,
Right.
you can get it. If you just search for the Globalist Plan to Collapse Everything, it'll come right up.
Right.
I just passed the mile marker recently, by the way, on sales. So
Right.
people don't realize how few books really get sold. So the average publisher-backed book, which this is not publisher-backed, it's independent. The average publisher-backed book sells 3,000 copies in its lifetime. In its lifetime, that's all, 3,000. So you got the million copy bestsellers, totally destroying that average or bringing it up. If you took that slice off the top, it would be a lot less. So I just passed 3,000 books, 3,000 units.
Wow.
And that's through relentless guerrilla marketing, podcasts,
Yeah.
hiring a PR firm to get my name out there. And the funny thing is people think you can make money on books. And I almost have to laugh because for this book on Amazon,
Right.
the hardback, I get $4 if it sells.
Well, look at you.
$4.
Look at you being a $4.
So do the math, 3,000 times $4 is 12K for all the work that is,
Right.
So there's no way most people are going to make money on a book. I've got far more than 12K into all the marketing I've done, but
yeah.
I don't care because my point is to try to get the word out. That's what it's all about. So.
Absolutely. Well, and that's, again, here's the thing, like you said in the you said something at the very beginning, you were talking about like, you were getting close to the word authenticity, about getting the right message out, getting those things that, so the masses understand that. And so this is one of the things, your method of doing it. Now, if you were doing it for the zeros, well, you'd write me a book that makes me feel good about what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's called placating. And I mean, none of us grow from that, right? So probably one of the things that we do here in the Jim Price Show is we do push that just because I ask questions. I ask questions about things because I'm like, hey, why are we doing this? Why do we have so many traditions? And the first thing is, oh, well, it's because we always do it that way. And then like, well, why? And they're like, oh, don't ask why. That's the superstition part of it, right? Tradition and superstition. And so I try to push that, right? So when you were doing these things, did you find yourself kind of, hurting your own feelings or feeling like you were hurting others' feelings by some of the topics you were pushing down on?
Yeah, I felt like I was going to get a lot of pushback because I had made the decision early on I was going to be 100% authentic in this.
Mm-hmm.
I would say what I really thought,
right,
and let the chips fall where they were going to fall. And even like what I explained to you about how the inspiration for the book came to me, that 4 a.m. experience.
right,
I put that in there too, in the interest of full transparency.
right.
And figuring a lot of people would probably put the book down when they got to that part early on. But yeah, I mean, there's been pushback. There's been some, friendships that got a little kind of weird, like I don't know if I want to be around this guy. It's a little too far out there.
Right.
But for the most part, it's been pretty stable. I was actually surprised. I expected a lot more pushback than what I ended up getting.
Yeah. Well, and that's fortunate. Here's the sad part, I guess, where you've in our society, and I don't know, is this one of your pillars? And maybe this is I'm kind of going to get into one of those. Is that we now celebrate stupidity. We don't celebrate brilliance or innovation in a way that makes people want to strive to innovate or to be brilliant, to give great information instead of people seeking out. It's why you're a know-it-all. It's like, what? You asked a question, I answered it. I'm not the. Well, don't ask me a question I know the answer to then, and I won't know it all. Like, anyway, so it's the trap of that, right? There's a little bit out there. Is that one of the pillars as like where we flipped upside down in our value system of things that we chase are all the wrong things? Is that one of the pillars?
There is the education is one of the pillars, and what you're touching on reflects the education level in the country and what we're educated on. Are we educated on political correctness? Or are we educated on, let's say, philosophical thinking? And, like the great classical education you used to get, where you learn how to think, you learn how to argue a point, you learn how to recognize falsehoods in statements,
Yeah.
And we're so far from that in our education system that people are so dumbed down. I mean, we've all seen the man on the street interviews, right?
Oh,
Who when did Christopher Columbus discover America? Was it, and then they're like, I don't know, 100 years ago.
Australia. That's like
Yeah,
Australia.
right.
That wasn't the what when, like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I mean, we're so dumbed down, and
Yeah.
people don't have respect, and there's a lot of respect for knowledge, like I think they used to in general. And the schools are teaching many of them a lot of mush, just not real hard facts, not reading, writing, math, and science,
Right.
the core things.
Can I be rude for a second? And I hope this doesn't. I hope I don't ruin an interview for you here. But I do believe that Uncle Barry was really the Trojan horse that brought in. And please take it as wrong as you want or right as you want or whatever. But anybody can be president, even if you don't have a real. Like, so we have some questions about your mother and who your dad really is and where you were born and so the ideology that says, well, we can't really question that. It was that slippery slope that we, but also anybody can, meaning that, well, I mean, people could pick up on people, right? And that kind of what, and so they're looking at Barry, and even though he's very suave, he's not really that intelligent. I don't find him as an intelligent person.
He's a community organizer. I mean, for God's sake, you got to be kidding me. That's your credential. You never led a company.
Yeah.
You never led an organization. You never had people under you who got stuff done. I mean, come on.
Go, buddy. Go, buddy. Go, go. Your tie's on. I just want to make sure your tie wasn't too tight there. I want to make sure you're getting there too.
It's a little tight.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you're going down the same path.
Oh no, get me going here. So the book gets into him and who his father really was.
It shows weakness though. Feckless weakness was then pillarized in a way that says this is now what we value as our leadership of our value. This is who a leader is, a guy who gives you all this blah, 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 blah. And there's no meat, there's no substance. It's all just bravado. And here's the thing. He did two things. He was reading the Marxist Manifesto, but he brought in the Muslim Brotherhood into the White House where they had offices directly next to him. So anybody can give me whatever, and they wonder why Minnesota looks the way it does, and they can wonder why certain things look the way they do in our country. But Uncle Barry was, and then you remember, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Author. I'm asking you the questions here. This is my assumption, and this is a Jim Price. Jim Price doesn't know anything. I'm not a doctor. I only play one on television. This is all made up. I'm completely conjecturing. Do you think that Trump, and the way that he is, as an effect, a guy who grew up around what was mafia boss effect? I mean that whether you're in the mafia or not,
construction industry.
Everybody ran their industry like a mafia because the mafia was kind of in everything, so everybody just ran it the same. But anyway, when Uncle Barry did about a 20-minute or so teardown of Trump, of how stupid he was about the birth certificate, isn't that about the exact same time that he would have then planned to then run for president, and he then has now become the immigration president, which would then reverse birthright citizenship, which would then... Do you see where I was going with that?
Oh yeah. No, I think he was probably planning to run before that. I mean, because there's old tapes of him saying, he would run if he felt like there was nobody running who could really solve America's problems.
But I mean, I think that was the little stone that pushed him over. Like, oh, you little.
I think it probably pissed him off, and it wasn't just that, but he roasted him pretty bad at the White House.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He humiliated him. Yeah, he tried to humiliate him, and I think it would.
That's the one.
It could have very well been the thing to push him over the top and said, "The hell with it, I'm going in."
He was probably going, how he's like, "What am I gonna get out of what am I gonna, just doing a little this," and then all of a sudden he's like, "We're doing this." Like he probably left that. He probably left that dinner. I don't know if he even had a phone at that. If he had a phone, he was like, put the presidential, here's 200 million, make it happen. Like, I want to be president now. I'm going to take it. I'm going to smoke this guy. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just feel like as a Don that doesn't take lightly to humiliation, right? You can make fun of me and my belly and my receding hairline and my bad jaws or whatever, you can do that, but you don't go there, right? You don't do
Right.
that little extra and that's where Barry is not good. See, Barry could have done that whole thing, but not pissed off Don.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he could have said that whole thing, but in a way,
It's the whole arrogance. They think they have a lock on everything. They think they're untouchable.
Yes.
They think that the whole system is so corrupt that nobody can possibly win. It had to blow their mind when he beat Hillary. That had to just totally make their heads explode, because they were cheating and they thought they had enough cheating in to take it. You know what I mean?
But that's where Russia stepped in. See, my assumption,
right.
my analogy is, and the information that keeps getting fed to me is that Russia stopped the cheat. They stopped the extra, like the hockey stick in the middle of the night with what we all saw under Biden.
Yeah.
They were trying to do that, and they couldn't pull it off with Hillary. They couldn't get it done, and that's why they told everybody to go home. Remember that? Oh, just go home. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. Just go home. We'll continue counting in the morning. But by then it was too late because they couldn't get it to flip because Russia was blocking it. I think that, and then they made sure that they weren't going to get blocked the second time. But remember, Trump did the executive order about investigating those. Whatever happened to that executive order? Investigating all
I've heard a lot of those executive orders were totally ignored. I've heard some of them were actually thrown in the trash can. Like he had people around him that were against him, obviously.
Yes.
Especially the first administration. I think this one is much better.
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot of stuff done.
Yeah.
But the first one, he was up against almost impossible odds. People, rhinos against him. I mean, he had everybody, and he still has a lot of them.
McCain and his crap. We had all the jokers in there. Golly.
Well, we still have. You got to wonder about Thune, right? You got to wonder about Thune, and
he's out. He's out. Him and Johnson are both out. They're still part of the old guard, man. They really are. And
so he's still up against it, is my point, but not in the way he was.
No. Oh, here's what I do know he's doing. And again, I've really learned Trump, and I don't know if everybody else is watching the way I have, but I have now learned it's like I call it it's like the long jump Trump. He starts to tell you about something, but it's not going to hit and he'll say something again like a month later. Yeah, he has these three, and then all of a sudden it becomes a topic. He gives these little crumbs, and you have to listen because he'll drop little things around, right? Yeah. And if you listen and you're able to keep track of the leapfrogs, he's telling you what's going on. But man, this dude is so tight-lipped about some of this investigation, just like Pam Bondi. Now everybody's like, "Oh, Pam Bondi, thank God she's gone. Oh, she was the worst. Oh, that blonde hair." Well, why did she get moved to Southern Florida? Why is she taking a civil job in Southern Florida, still on the payroll? See, she didn't leave. She just moved over as a special prosecutor, right?
Getting ready, getting ramped up, hopefully.
See, there's a lot of pawn pieces that I'm watching move around, and everybody's like, thank God she's gone, man. The world's going to be a better... And I'm like, I don't know.
And didn't something similar happen with Kristi Noem? I mean, she got moved to somewhere, but I don't remember where. But everybody's like, she's gone. I don't think she's gone. I think it was a lateral move. I don't remember what it was, though.
Yeah, there has been nobody. Has he fired anybody? I don't think
probably, but knowing him, probably, but nothing stands out.
But you know what I mean? Bongino, he stepped down after seeing the aliens or whatever his eye-popping moment was. I mean, like, dude, are you on the meth or the crack or the Maria
Bartiromo interview? Is that what you're talking about? That was the one that they were both deer in the headlights. I was on another podcast like 2 days after that happened, and I'm like, what is up with Bongino? No. I mean, he knows he's lying. Somebody's putting him up to it. I mean, he knows
everything is fine. We did not find anything. Everything is good. FBI good. Yeah. You guys great. I like you. Me good. I'm like, what are you reading?
Yeah, no assassination. We saw everything. No assassination attempt. I mean, geez. I mean, it's just the one guy. It's a lone gunman.
But here's the thing. You know what, though? The sad part of it is all these guys are all on SSRIs, right? They're all these lone gunmen that have been also looks like to be set up for what they've done as well. And we know about the you know, the Project Bluebeam stuff and the
Sure.
cranial reading and blah blah blah. But you become way more susceptible to it with SSRIs. If
Oh,
you
sure.
are on an antidepressant, your mind is more manipulated by wavelengths than you are. Anyway, so I don't mean to go off on that, but yeah, Bongino. But I haven't seen anybody really get fired. But we were having that problem and I feel bad because I used to say, oh, you know, Mike Pompeo, I campaigned with him when I ran for state senate. You know, hey, great
Oh,
guy,
okay.
blah blah blah. I'm out on the guy now. I'm not good with Mike Pompeo.
Pompeo. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's former CIA. I mean, have you ever noticed a pattern that almost everybody that's former CIA is,
Since the Bushes,
man, you
since Daddy
just
Bush.
the new governor for Virginia, former CIA.
Daddy Bush is the head of the snake when it came to all that transition, the CIA
Yeah.
into the government.
Yeah.
And then you got Daddy Bush, but then you got Obama's grandfather going down to see Daddy Bush while Obama lived in El Dorado, Kansas. So,
Yeesh.
yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah. What a nest, huh?
It's fine. Oh, we're all above board and doing all that stuff. Do you think let me ask you a quick question, Alan. We're going to put you on the record here. You believe you believe we're alone, or do you believe there may be something else bigger than us out there? Or are there aliens?
Well, in the spiritual world, there's definitely something bigger than us. Okay, so when you look at it that way, yeah, I believe there's an entire spiritual world. I personally believe it aligns up with the biblical explanation of angels and demons who are just fallen angels, right? I personally don't buy, and I understand people who do.
Yes.
I don't buy the alien thing. I think what we're seeing in the quote alien world is one of two things, my opinion. It's either demons masquerading as aliens, or it's just tech that's been on its own track outside of what the tech we get. In other words, a breakaway society.
Absolutely.
Of the scientists that started after the Nazi regime came to an end, and we scooped up most of them.
Right.
And so it can look like alien tech. It can look like flying saucers. I think it's just our own tech, anti-gravity, all these kind of things that are so easy to make us believe they're aliens. Right. And the other thing is, with the whole Project Bluebeam thing out in the open, that they had a plan, at least, to fake everybody out that there was an alien invasion. And you look at the movies, how they've been queuing us up to believe this.
Right. Through the clouds.
So they've set the stage for it. It just seems too clean to me.
E.T., Third Kind,
the Will Smith movie, what was that?
Independence Day.
Yeah.
They all come out of the cloud. There's always a cloud that they come out of, right? So, but the problem is you need the
Marvel things.
Yeah, you need the water to refract the images. So the water in the air actually causes the refraction. That's what you need that for. That's what they use. So when you use a laser, you're using the water droplets to make them visible. That's what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right. So anything else about we got about 4 or 5 more minutes here.
Okay.
Anything else about the book you want to lead us to or talk about?
Well, there's 175 QR codes in the book. So I just want to emphasize to people that this is not like reading a book. This is more like a multimedia experience. This is a book and a video and a website all at the same time. So when you're reading the book, like I said, 175 QR codes, 100 of those are to videos, mostly short videos. So there's only a handful of footnotes in the book. Everything relies on the QR code that you can go to like right now and see the proof. And you'll see proof of these, these people saying things in their own words.
Right.
You'll see things that you forgot. And what the book does is it kind of knits it all together so that you get your arms around the whole picture with the facts. And because it's QR codes, you have links you can email, you can text or email to other people.
Right.
So you have this rich resource that is an easy read because it breaks it up with going back and forth to videos. So you read the book with your phone in your hand.
So if you actually had like the thing where you can throw your phone up to the TV, you could kind of sit there on your phone, go back and forth on the QR code right there on your own TV, pulling that off, doing a whole thing. And yet, you know, you wouldn't have to be looking at a smaller screen. You'd be able to pull it up and do different stuff. So that'd be even a way at home, instead of going through the, I don't know, Tibu or whatever we're supposed to watch now, whatever.
Yeah, you can just broadcast it from your phone. That's a good point.
Do that on there, like that.
My point is, it's an easy read.
Yeah.
It really is an easy read, and despite the heavy subject matter, you could say it is entertaining in a way.
Right.
You know, so yeah, people have told me it's the easiest book to read they ever read. Written in a conversational style, doesn't beat you up. It's not one where you read the same paragraph 3 times to remember where you are. You know, you'll read it once and get it.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't like a good book with some pictures in it, right? So I'm just being facetious. Like, hey, I like pictures, man. Let me tell you, boy.
So one guy, I was on his podcast, and he said, "What you've created is like a pop-up book for adults." You know, so you got. There's just an example. You see the QR code.
Oh, okay. Right? Yeah.
And you can see the image, like, you know, going down the rabbit hole, taking the red pill.
Oh, there you go.
Developing a healthy skepticism. You know, so it's got images too.
Well, wasn't it like I remember when you had to like read, you need to read page 49 through, 82 tonight. I would always go through and see how many pages had pictures. Yeah. So I could see how much I really had to read, because I didn't want to be. It's like, no, how many pages do we really have to read? Don't give me that. Yeah. There's like how many. So like, oh, good, there's a lot of pictures. Whew, it was like one of those things. But but no, that's so it's interactive. But see, again, like you said, you can ship that off to somebody. Go, hey, I'm going to send this over to Aunt Karen, who gives me hell about this all the time. Here, Karen, look at this. Quit telling me I'm a bad person. Do your own research. But I will tell you.
The other thing I did is I put at the end of each chapter, I just did a recap with bullet points. It's like, you just read all this. Here's what you just read, so you can kind of lock it in.
Right. No, that's a great study guide. I mean, it's a study guide within the reader itself. So you're getting... If you're coming back and you're looping back in like that, you're really going to make an imprint. Good stuff on that. Now, one more time, let me see if I can get this typed in here. Let's get to the website here. Okay, give me the website. Spell it out for me. Here.
Global Collapse Book.
Okay, global.com.
Collapse Book. 2 L's in collapse.
Oh, man.
just saying.
Now you got me like, Global Collapse what? .com?
Book.
Oh, book.
.com. Yep.
Okay. .com. Okay, very good. I'm putting this in the comments so that way it goes out on the different platforms here. Oh, and at least, there we go. So that's out. See if it goes out. Boom, 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 boom. All right, looks okay. Brenda said she's going to definitely buy it. So anyway, very good. So Alan, for you, are you got any places you're going to be speaking or anything else coming up for you in the near future?
Well, I'm working on an agreement with iHeartRadio for basically a radio show that's really the podcast content. Supposed to be coming out with one show for each of the 11 pillars and then an introductory show. So that's with iHeartRadio out of New York City.
Wow.
And we're still working on that, getting that going. Other than that, I got the podcast. No speaking engagements, although I'm open to it. Just if you go to the website globalcollapsebook.com, put it in the contact form. I am looking for speaking engagements. It's a kind of topic that it's not easy to get a speaking engagement. You're not going to do this for the graduating class, So.
Right. Well, like I said, if you were doing it for the money, you'd have just told me what I wanted to hear, not what I needed to hear. So that's a big difference, and that's authentic, and that really is what keeps things separate in the world. I do believe. Now, listen, Alan, and this is my prediction. I've made a lot in here, and I don't know how many of I've actually. I'm not Nostradamus, I don't think yet. I'm working on it. But I do believe the authenticity of the human being, like the idea of an interview with you. Okay, we had an interview together, and this is going to be like the least amount of personable interaction people are going to want. They're going to want it live. They want to know that we're real. They're going to know we're interacting. They want to see our hands. That whole idea of AI. And I do believe the in-person speeches and the group togethers and the bigger events and getting people back in those festival effects, I think that's all coming back. And I think AI is going to force us to it, because we're going to feel everything's going to be like, okay, fine. Okay, cool. You got all the answers. Cool. Go. You go do that. You go be whatever. But I think the human connection, again, when 2 or more are together, I am there with you. We know that this is part of what we were commanded to do, not just to stay away from each other and watch it on TV. We're to come together.
You're right. Well, I think people are looking for authenticity and real human contact again. I think you're right. All the AI stuff and everything being digital and packaged, and yeah, it wears you down. You just want the real deal. Yep. And I think you're 100% right.
Absolutely. Well, sir, I thank you so much. I'm going to get you out of here. Going to wrap up the show. It was great having you. One more time, globalcollapsebook.com. Yep. Allan, it was great having you on here, sir. Anything else you want to say just before we get you out of here?
Real quick, you can also catch some of my other interviews at globalcollapsebook.com. There's video interviews, and my podcast is rumble.com/The Globalist Plan. So you can check that out.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Allan, and you've been great. Thank you for going off track a little bit with me there on that stuff. That's really
it was fun.
Makes it better. Makes a better interview.
That was a blast. Let's do it again sometime. Hey, thanks for having me on, Jim. Appreciate it.
Loop back in anytime. If you're getting ready to next month or two, let me know. We'll get you in.
And send me a shipping address, and I'll send you a free signed copy.
Absolutely. We'll get that done. I'd love to read it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Let's see.
Take care.
Bye-bye. All right. What a great interview that was with Allan. Now, guys, this is one of those things where I've had things like this in my own past where, I wrote that poem. I got up in the middle of the night. It's weird how we don't always want to listen, and we don't know because it's weird. It's not always what we should think it should be. I don't know about that. And the silly part of it is I did write that poem that I have on the website, and he did get up and write a book in the middle of the night. And it's not that everything comes in the middle of the night, but it's a lot of times that's when you're finally just stopped enough and you quit with worrying about with the electric bill and the hangnail and the, I don't know if my hair's long enough or short enough or if I got a this or that. And sometimes you just got to get quiet, and that's okay. And it'll come to you, and those things are there. But sometimes we have to learn to trust ourselves as well. And not that every little fart that comes to your head is from God and I've been anointed, to do. But you'll have to start listening close enough to realize what is real and what is just fluff or your mind wandering or your liver telling you that it's not happy with you. But over time, you'll be able to find that discernment, and you'll be able to see where there's different things out there for you to understand. And a lot of times it's called humility, about knowing that you know nothing is when you start finding knowledge, is when you really start seeing things clearly. And so one of the great things about this man is going out there and doing those things. And guys, the world around us has got a lot of bad people in it doing a lot of bad things. But I'll tell you, if I can tell you where the pitfalls are, if I can guide you and hold your hand and go with you as we walk down through these things, and I say, listen, there's an issue. Watch out for that low-hanging branch. There's a hole here. Watch out for the slippery here. See, all of a sudden, now we're working together. Now we're all doing this. Now we're all getting better. And that's like he talked about. If we get the wave of attention moving in the right direction, suddenly it has its own momentum, and it really just wipes it out itself. But the problem is you got to put the shoulder behind it. Just like the idea of COVID. Look how hard was it to get people? Not me, Jimmy. I was day one. No. Not you. But a lot of people took years to finally see what COVID was. I still have people just now starting to figure it out. And it's like, golly, guys. I mean, but anyway, that's how it works. And so the law of numbers, the adaptation, 1%, 3%, there's a whole thing there. And what a great interview with Allan. So thank you for him. And he said he's going to get me that book. I'm going to look forward to reading that. I am. And all the QR code stuff. I mean, it's always interesting how all that stuff works. But guys, listen, the world around you has already got a lot of stuff going on. The more tools you have of awareness, not saying you got to do some weird stuff or whatever and chicken bones and reading tea leaves. But the awareness of things that may be coming at you. Because you become more aware, when you are a better driver, when you're out here looking out 100 yards away from everywhere, you're not looking 5 feet off the hood. You're looking away, you're getting more and more awareness, you're getting further and further and more confidence, right? So then you just don't have accidents. Accidents don't just jump out in front of you because you're not looking 5 feet in front of you. you're looking 100 yards. You saw the guy pulling up to the intersection, and you got into the opposite lane to give him enough time to make sure he stopped, but also you're going by and he can start taking off before you even clear the intersection because he has that space behind you. Now, that's looking out here. That's making you, but by the way, you're making your life more efficient, but you're also avoiding accidents that you don't know you avoided because you weren't in that sheltered little huddle down here looking at your toes. You were out here. And so the more you learn, the better you get, the less you have to deal with. The more aware you are, the less you get to the point where you start seeing out there. You see 100 yards out ahead of you. And you're like, yeah, I see that coming. What are you going to do about it? Oh, nothing. It's just going to go, oh, hey, bye. Oh, what do you get? Oh, you got, but see, you're seeing it way ahead. So you can adjust. You have time. But again, not everybody wants to do that. Not everyone wants to be that. But this is where we have those opportunities to share that knowledge and gain those things with each other. All right, guys. Well, remember the things that we're doing around this world there's a bigger plan, and I know there is. Oil prices are dropping down exponentially. They are below $90 right now. And a lot of areas across the country, since Memorial Day weekend, we've had a 15-cent drop across the nation on average. So, again, guys, Iran is now going to do the ceasefire thing. We'll see how long they want to do that. We're going to have them flex their muscles a few times, show that they're in charge. But the problem is, as soon as we turn the internet on, they know they're going to lose all that. And by the way, internet has been off for 40 days now, something like that, in Iran. So if you guys think that this is not affecting the people, if you have an internet business, it kind of is. So anyway. All right, guys. Well, remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, less of it do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up. Do not give in. We'll win. I promise I can't keep. Guys, you've always been the answer out there. Remember that Constitution? Well, that limits the government, but never limits you. So know your authority. Understand that they wrote that because they knew what a king really was, not the bull that we deal with today. Oh, Trump's a king. Shut up. You do not know what a king really is on this earth. We don't have kings like we used to have of old. Woo! We got to pick our battles, boys and girls. All right, good to see you guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys have a good each other out there.